was that? Who was that?
A ghost?
Regular Dave.
What the fuck?
Oh, I didn't even know you guys could hear me.
Backstage.
Yeah, we can hear you. Shut up.
Oh, shit.
Well, Dave can join us via spirit. We hear you. Dave, we hear you. Are you okay?
Hey.
We're having a seance for Regular Dave. He's coming through.
Hey, you guys want to watch a good vampire TV show? Is What We Do in the Shadows.
Awesome.
Hilarious. That sounds terrible already.
No,
I haven't heard of it.
Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and go to a clip Phil made for our serial killer vampire story. Here's a video by Phil. And what's the name of the killer again?
This was Richard Trenton Chase. This was about 10 years ago. This was shot.
Richard Chase here in Sacramento, California. Here we go.
Sorry, guys.
It's okay. It's okay. It's still not dead. A lot of bad things inside your
This is Miraloma High School, where Richard Trenton Chase graduated in 1968. He was not an unpopular kid. He was on the cross-country track team. He made the honor roll. Okay, here we have, this is American River College, ARC Stadium. This is the football stadium for the local community college for Sacramento, and particularly the little suburb of Carmichael. This is where Richard Trenton Chase went to college for a few years, 3 years I think, 1968 to 1971.
Looks like Tristan.
In 1973, December 1st of 1973 in particular, Richard Chase walked into a hospital that used to be complaining that someone had stolen his pulmonary artery and his blood had stopped flowing. The doctors took him in, examined him, and then admitted him into a psychiatric ward, which is literally just down the street within walking distance of this location. Oddly enough, they tore down that building too, so we're going to take you over to that construction site and show you where the Beverly Manor Mental Hospital used to be, it looks like anyways, and that's where he spent some time there and earned the nickname the Dracula Killer. This, however, used to be a hospital, and this is where he may have first been admitted into a psychiatric ward. His mother checked him out later on, and nice of her enough to release him onto the streets for us all.
Like Freddie Mercury for a second.
Creepy looking dude.
I see Bush. It was her Bush.
Killers wear bands.
There's Gills.
That was the last victim. That's the box they found him in.
Jeez. That goofy Trent Reznor looking motherfucker. I swear. And we're back. That's pretty creepy. I saw the intestines fucking hanging out of his stomach. And I saw a little bit of Bush.
Yeah,
I heard you have the full picture.
I do have the full picture. I just didn't want to show it on this podcast just because it shows everything.
Yeah, we don't want to see the film.
Yeah, good job, Phil. I'm glad Richard Trenton Chase is not part of this round table.
No. Well, he died.
Well, I
Yeah,
wouldn't deny him if he offered it to mine.
He ended up
he killed himself.
What do you say to someone like that? So what have you done lately? What the hell do you say to somebody like that?
He was batshit crazy. His mother was mentally ill. He was found outside of Pyramid Lake, soaked in blood, covered from head to toe with a bucket of blood next to him, and the cops found him out there. And he couldn't speak, like they couldn't get anything out of him. Turns out they tested it. It was cow's blood. It wasn't human blood. So he had shot a cow in some field, drained all of its blood, and had its heart in the thing too. He was released there. That was when his mother sent him to go live with his grandmother, because if you have a psychotic kid, why not send him to grandma's house? His mother also was the one who took him off of his medications just 6 months prior to his killing spree. So his mother was mentally ill, and she basically enabled him his entire friggin' life. During the time that he committed the murders, she was paying for his apartment, which was right across from the Del Paso Country Club golf cart.
Hey, Aaron, I doubt Anne Rice was transgender because she's already hiding for another important reason. I don't think you want to add transgender onto that.
Anne Rice was hot, but all of her vampires, that was one of the things.
Or are we thinking about Anne Frank? I get them mixed up.
Oh, come on.
Oh.
Where's the Terry Shivo? Come on.
Oh, Shivo. Oh, I can't find a Shivo screen. I'll have to program a Shivo screen for the next one.
Jesus Christ.
No, he's not going to listen to this. Jesus Christ listens to this show, I'm in big trouble.
One of my favorite...
about vampires, right?
Yeah.
What, Dave?
You guys were talking about vampires. Have you guys ever heard of the organization called Temple of the Vampire from Boston, Massachusetts? It's actually like a church for people who think they're vampires.
I think I saw that on the news or like the current affair or something.
Sounds like another Church of Satan or an orgy place.
Yeah, during,
Shit.
that was like during the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the Key and Peele skit about the vampires, where they're all dramatic and with the long hair and pretty and all that shit? And was it
Twilight?
They're making fun of like Twilight, and they're making fun of Underworld with it. Everybody's doing all that dramatic.
Oh, a breaking wind? Or breaking
yeah. Well, yeah. Then he tells me because I just want to be a vampire so I can see what future cars look like.
I want to see The Last Voyage of Demeter.
What?
The Last Voyage.
Oh, yeah.
Of
It's like the
Demeter.
whole movie about Dracula being on the boat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's his ship. I forgot.
That must have been cheap production.
Yeah, going from Romania to England. Yeah.
The whole movie watching a fucking ship.
That's a long row.
It's kind of watching the whole movie of a hobbit trying to throw a ring off the cliff.
Oh my
The
God.
first two movies, they're just walking
That's exactly what that fucking trilogy was.
and walking. Hey, it's still good. Don't hate.
Yeah, if you like walking.
I don't, obviously.
Barnabas Collins from Dark Shadows. One of my favorite vampires.
Dark Shadows, that's another one.
Yeah.
Oh, in the heat of the night, about the vampire cop.
Oh, I remember that show. That was a great show.
Oh, yeah.
90s. Hell yeah.
80s and 90s, man. It's in the best times.
The original Dark Shadows from the 60s, though, you go back and try to watch those, man. They are slow as shit to watch. The one with Johnny Depp was really good, though.
That one was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was a good movie. It's pretty funny, too.
And no, remember Leslie Nielsen
Alice
played in
Cooper, ugliest woman I ever saw.
the vampire movie. Leslie Nielsen, what was it called?
It was
Damn it.
Dracula,
Which one?
Dead and Loving. Dracula.
Yeah, Dead and Loving It. Leslie Nielsen playing fucking Dracula like a Bram Stoker's version. Pretty funny.
I can't think of her name, but I did an interview with her, and she was the original actress for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think
her, yeah.
Kristen something.
I'm like a half-naked chick fucking killing vampires every episode.
What is it?
Swanson.
Yeah. I did an interview with her. Yeah, very nice lady.
What was that movie? Was it Love at First Bite? The one with George Hamilton?
Oh, yeah. That was a good one.
Right. I know I'm going back, but that one was pretty fucking funny.
I like Salem's Lot. I like Vampire Academy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, how about Blackula?
Oh, yeah, Blackula. Okay.
Blackula.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
How about Vampire in Brooklyn?
Yeah, in fact,
Vampire in Brooklyn.
Dracula bit Blackula. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Daybreakers. That's a Russian vampire movie. That was a good one.
It was like 40 Days of Night. It was 40 Days of Night.
Night Watch, Day Watch.
Yeah. Fright Night.
Fright Night was awesome. The original Fright Night was awesome.
That was a good one.
30 Days of Night.
30, that's the one, 30 Days.
Yeah. And a lot of these kids, they get into these vampire role-playing games, and then somehow they act out their fantasy, and they think in their mind that they're a vampire, and they get themselves in a lot of trouble too.
I mean, you can be anything you want these days, so I guess identifying as a vampire would be totally legit these days.
Yeah.
Right? You go bite someone's neck, suck the fuck blood out of their cock, and you're legit, right?
There's been a couple of murders during the Satanic Panic that blamed on like teenagers that were supposedly getting together and pretending they were vampires and shit. What the hell is it, Paul? You know that one that I'm talking about, the West Tennessee?
Oh yeah, West Memphis 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
And they took
they
3
went
boys.
I think they went down to Florida and killed people. Yeah, they went down to Florida and murdered this girl's family.
Oh shit.
Well, the West Memphis 3, they killed 3 little boys that were on their bikes and they were going across the bridge.
Oh wow! So that's different than the story I heard about the West Memphis 3.
Yeah.
So that
the
must
West
be
Memphis
more
3
than
is
one Memphis 3 then.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I said that must mean there's more than just one group of West Memphis 3, because there was a kid back in the 3 boys back in the early 2000s that went down to Florida to this girl's house, and he murdered her whole family. And these 3 boys were all a part of it. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting.
That case sounds familiar, but I'm not sure if it was the West Memphis, because the West Memphis, they made a big deal because supposedly they're innocent and their confessions were coerced. It turns out that through an investigation,
That's what they all say.
it turns out that but they found out that the person who actually killed those 2 or 3 boys was like one of the stepdads or something in the neighborhood. There was a whole long documentary about it.
And also, too, there was that guy that was found in the fast food restaurant, and he had blood all over him, and he was African American. He was sitting on the toilet, and he smeared, and he smeared blood all over the place, and they thought he was a suspect, but they never found him again. Yeah, the police didn't follow up on it.
There was What about the heavy metal killer during the Satanic Panic? There was that heavy metal killer. Similar case, type of thing. Basically, teenagers having bonfires and killing people or killing their friends.
That's so Lost Boys.
Wow.
Exactly, but it was before Lost Boys was made, so.
Shit. Okay.
Art imitates life.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, well, hey, I had a neighbor right here on the street where I live at right now, and he actually had permanent vampire teeth. He actually had them implanted in his mouth, and he spent a fortune to get these vampire teeth in his mouth.
Coolest shit I ever saw was a good friend of mine had a crown that had a spider carved into it. It was cool. It was cool as shit.
That's kind of cool.
He said his dentist was a biker.
Oh my god.
Hold your thought. We'll be right back.
Okay, all right.
In a time and place where kids were forced to fight for survival.
Jesus, I'm just hoping when I lop this dude's filthy head off, his cock will be rigor morty for like 30.
Food is sparse,
Jesus, I'm starving.
and so are the women.
God damn it, Samuel. Tristan, see if you could cut that tree stump off and fit it up my anus.
These are the Hunger Gays.
Oh,
Or the hunger,
God
Tristan.
damn, cock back with your spoo arrow and shoot it in me.
It's no high.
This summer to theaters near you.
God damn it, what are you doing in that tree? Climb down off that hard piece of wood and climb onto mine.
Written by Suzanne Collins.
Is that a bow and arrow in your pocket, or are you happy to see me?
Readapted among crumbs.
Take your filthy love weapon and stuff it deep inside my fight tunnel.
The hunger has been satisfied.
Well, there goes the Roku channel.
There goes that idea.
That's what I
Wow.
That's what I just said.
That was good wishful hoping for about 2 weeks now. There went that.
Yeah.
Now, we love people on Sanitarium. That's why we have Tristan and Terrence Kane on here. It's kind of like, we have them here, and when they be in our presence, and they're cool with it, so we can make the gay jokes and remarks. Cause
Me and Terry support
this gay podcast with all the gay hosts on the show. So,
Exactly. And we're all very, very happy
that support you fags. And, you know, we stand by you wholeheartedly.
If you let a transgender male to woman suck your dick, does that make you part of the transgender community?
Yeah. I mean, you participated.
You want to be
participated in an undiscriminatory love.
The mouth is the mouth, right?
believe it.
Does it make you gay? Well, unless you knew ahead of time. I mean, I got down to the last minute and you got your knob slobbed on, and
I'm not the one doing it. I'm the one receiving it.
if she stood like my turn, then you're kind of off the hook on that one. You know?
No, it's if the next day you're in this like really bad panic, like oh my god, I did that, you're kind of gay.
That's why I laugh at the Jerry Springer show.
You're kind of gay.
The Jerry Springer show always had.
But if you're not in a panic and you're totally cool with it, then you're straight, right?
Yeah, well, remember the Jerry Springer show always had the ghetto black guys on there, and they're always like, "Oh, I didn't know." They're all upset.
I didn't know.
How the fuck you ain't gonna know? You think the pussy butt feels weight? No, I don't know. There's a big difference. And they're like, "Well, I didn't know." Bullshit. Bullshit. It's like a chick. You had a butthole. You had a hole to deal with. Vanilla Ice hole is a hole, and you went for it, and you knew about it. And most of them are like, "Oh, I didn't know." Man, my motherfucker got an Adam's apple. It looked like goddamn Arnold Schwarzenegger with a wig. And you didn't know about bullshit.
To be fair, you can get a blowjob by like Roseanne Barr, or you can get a blowjob by like some really hot tranny porn actress that is totally passable.
Roseanne Barr.
Really?
Whoa.
Roseanne Barr. She does not look that bad lately.
But who's gonna get the better one?
Pack is good to go.
Who's gonna get the better one?
Well, definitely the dude. Right?
On your behalf.
Really?
See, Big